It has been a busy morning for investigators at the scene of a deadly plane crash in Indian River County.
We have live team coverage of a deadly plane crash there that left 2 young people dead. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lauren LaPancina.
And I'm Keely Fulton. We have new information this noon on the victims. Let's go right to the scene for the very latest, where we find News Channel 5's Ryan Calhoun, who kicks off our team coverage. Ryan, what can you tell us?
Well, right now I can tell you that investigators say 2 tourists from Scotland visiting from Merritt Island have died in a plane crash that happened about a quarter of a mile back here on this ranch on Blue Cypress Lake Road. The 2 who have died are said to be 21-year-old student pilot Carly Beatty and his older brother, 24-year-old Daniel Beatty. Now, right now you are looking at Chopper 5 video from this morning, where you can see the Cessna 152 plane crashed into an array of trees. Authorities tell us the ground in that area is very swampy, where investigators are working right now. Now, the Beatty brothers' plane is said to have left yesterday from the Space Coast Aviation Center for a 3-hour trip, but unfortunately never returned. Shortly after, the Brevard County Sheriff's Office started an investigation, was able to pinpoint the brothers' cell phone signal off a nearby tower, and at about 3 this morning, they were able to find the crashed plane with the 2 dead. Now, the FAA and the Indian River County Sheriff's Office is back there investigating right now, trying to look at all of the evidence back there and figure out a way to get the plane out of here. They're trying to figure out if they're going to call the U.S. Coast Guard to ask for their assistance to get the plane lifted out of here. And they're also waiting for NTSB to come out and also look at it. Live in Indian River County, I'm Ryan Calhoun, WPTV News Channel 5.
Ryan, thank you very much. Our team coverage continues now with News Channel 5 aviation expert Dave Bagelis, who's standing by in our newsroom now. Dave, good afternoon. Thanks for being with us today.
You're welcome, Lauren.
Let's start at the beginning. In your best estimation, what do you think happened here? Or, Dave, is it just too early to tell?
It's always too early to tell within a few hours. Short answer is either a pilot issue or a mechanical issue with the aircraft. So those will be the 2 things that NTSB will be looking at in the next a few hours. And they have been dispatched from Atlanta. One thing we know for certain, we can rule out the weather. There was no obscuration from the smoke that we've had around the areas recently because of the fires. So NTSB should have something for us. Hopefully by 5 o'clock tonight, they may be on scene and have a preliminary answer for us.
Dave, let's turn to the timeline now. So this plane took off before noon. Police were not notified about an overdue aircraft until 10 hours later. Is that normal?
It seems to be an abnormally long time. The aircraft took off before noontime. They said between 10 and 11 o'clock, and the Sheriff's Office wasn't notified until 8 p.m., which is an extremely long time. I would be suspect of what their emergency response plan was within the FBO that rented the aircraft, and I think that's something that's going to be looked into.
Dave, we also know these siblings were from Scotland. Is there anything to that? Any idea why they might choose to rent a plane here in the U.S.?
The cost of private aviation in all of Western Europe is frighteningly expensive, and on a comparative basis, it's quite cheap to fly an aircraft here in the United States. These were aviation enthusiasts, and they were flying around in South Florida. It was a beautiful day yesterday, and I'm sure that they were looking at it as a joy flight. Regrettably, it turned tragic.
Just awful. All right, well, as always, we do appreciate your insights on all things aviation. Our aviation expert, Dave Bagelis, live in the newsroom this noon. Dave, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Dave will be back this evening at 5 p.m. as we learn more about the investigation. Dave, thanks.
You're welcome.